And that happened to one of my friends too, and I didn't realize it at the time. And uh, when we were in processing, he was crossing his arms. We woke up super early, ready to in process, and he crossed his arms, and one of the sergeants called him out for it. Was like, "Oh, you think you're in charge? Get up on this platform." And so he, he has him, pulls him over, he's standing on, it makes him get up on this wooden platform, like 5 or 6 feet in the air, and crossing his arms, looking at all of us, and we're just looking at him, and he's just like, in our minds, we're like, "What an idiot. Like, what are you doing?" And we're just laughing. And he told me this story, like, at the end, and I was like, he's like, "You're the guy with the trash bag." And I was like, "You were the dude that crossed his arms." Like, it's like, what an idiot. And he's like, "You're an idiot." And I was like, "We're idiots."
Just for reference, guys. So for those of you who are not so there are these things called drill sergeant stands. And they're elevated platforms, like probably about chest high. And the drill sergeants climb up and they bark orders at you, like when you're doing PT and stuff. So trainees are never supposed to get on the drill sergeant stand.
You get yelled at for
You get yelled at for accidentally bumping into it, touching it. Like, I mean, there was a kid who was like having to file paperwork, and he put his hands and started, and the drill sergeant's like, "What are you doing? You do it on the ground. Like, you do not touch the drill sergeant stand." Speaking of drill sergeant stands, Mr. Simpson here thought it would be a great joke while I was at basic training to send me some mail. Okay, so you get in basic training, you get mail call, you get family mail. Yeah, they can send you some goodies like wet wipes are a great thing to get, shaving utensils because everything's overpriced at the PX and where you buy your stuff. So have them send you soap, shampoo. Don't send food, but
all the goods.
Just what is it?
Basic
sugar-free cough
Sugar-free cough drops. About the only thing you can get.
Those things you can buy just about. You can buy anybody's loyalty.
Oh
with
man,
sugar-free cough drop.
Yeah, you can bribe a lot of people with the cough drop.
So
Yep.
The man who has the sugar-free cough drop is king. But so anyway, at a mail call one day, well, I don't even know where to start with this story.
There's a lot
Because I had made a phone. You get your phone privileges. Like maybe. Sorry, I keep burping. We got it every weekend or every Sunday.
we get once a week. Yeah, you get once a week.
It's different. Like you didn't get phone privileges ever, did you?
We got to use the phone 2 times for 5 minutes.
The entire training.
Yeah, it was like a 5-minute call, and then like at the very end was a 5-minute call, and that was like it was like family day, so it was like trying to plan everything, and they were like, "You have 5 minutes, figure it out." Like, all right.
Yeah, I got my phone every Sunday at Fort Jackson. And
I've never heard of it. So more lucky than that.
I didn't think about it at the time, but I called Case. You actually get like quite a bit of time. We got like an hour or so every day.
If it's a holiday, you've got a lot of time.
So I called a bunch of people. I called my parents. I called my brother. I called my girlfriend, and I called Case, and just had a little friendly chat with him. He was telling me how it was going, but he was like, "Did you get any mail from me?" And I was like, "No," and I was like, "Oh, okay," and I was like, he seemed awful excited, but I didn't think anything about it. So we go out in the field. We go to the forge, which is like the final 3 days out in the field that for basic training at Fort Jackson. So I don't think about it, but yeah. At one point on the last day there, it's like early in the morning, waiting to get chow.
Still dark out.
Still dark. Like it's the sun's just barely coming up, and I'm sitting on my ruck pack with my entire first platoon, and I mean literally, I just hear the drill sergeant screaming. Like they go, "Watson!" And I was just like, whew, I hope they're talking about the other Watson in the company because they do not sound happy.
Uh-oh.
And then, it gets closer, Watson, and I was like, oh no, it's me. So, and they go, and they just yell at me and they say, "Come here, come right here, right effing now, and don't say a word to anybody." And I'm like, well, this can't be good. So I get up and my entire platoon's looking at me like, "What'd you do?" And I'm like, I have no idea. I've been here with you guys the entire 3 days we've been out in the field. What could I have done? So I run up, and every single drill sergeant, including a lot of the CO, the XO, like they're all just in this giant circle looking at each other's phones. And I was like, I don't even want to go into this circle, but here I come, lonely trainee. And they just go, "Watson, come here." And like they show me their phones. I go, "What is this?" And I'm looking at this little screenshot or this photo that someone took a picture of, and it's mail, and it's addressed to me. And it says, Porn Addicts Recovery Society of America or something along those lines. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And I knew exactly who sent it. It is this man right here. Like, he's the perpetrator. And they go, and
It was me.
so
It was me.
all my drill sergeants think I'm some type of sexual deviant or
Some pervert.
you know? And I just go, this is a prank. This is a joke. Like, my buddy in the 82nd sent me this, okay? And thank God, like, several of the drill sergeants who were there were 82nd Airborne guys. I'm like, oh yeah, this is definitely something someone in the 82nd would do. And I was like, thank God.
I definitely had to do it. Like, at this part in time, like, I was already like 6 years in the military from the 82nd. And he's in basic,
Fresh.
and I was like, usually I wouldn't just write you a letter, but I'm gonna do it, and which I did it to you. I didn't do it to your brother.
Thanks for that. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
You're
Yeah, that's so
welcome.
nice.
Yeah,
That's the benefits of going first.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But you told me that you had 82nd drill sergeants, and I was like, bet he's not gonna get in too much trouble if I do this, because he's just gonna say, my buddy's in the 82nd, and it's, you guys know each other, right? And it's like, probably not.
Definitely not.
No, definitely not.
Anybody
No,
being
no.
in a second.
Probably not. We probably don't know each other.
So, anywho, I'm back here, and finally they just look at it and they go, we'll deal with this when we get back. So we have a whole nother night out in the field. So we have to go to our graduation ceremony. So we sleep again before we even get back to the base. We go and we do our beret ceremony, and then we have to march back to base from Hilton Field. So I'm like, it's not even on my mind anymore, because we got like 3 hours of sleep that night, and an entire 24 hours has elapsed since this point. And we've got other stuff going on. Like, we've got our fresh berets on. We're thinking we're cool, And we get back and they start doing mail call. And I was like, uh-oh.
Hopefully they forgot.
Yeah, I was like, hopefully they just forgot. But I just assumed, because if certain stuff is contraband, straight contraband, and things like pornographic images and things like that are considered contraband. So I was wondering, since the word was on it, I was like, sure. Obviously they're not going to open it and look at it, but
You were hoping that.
But I was hoping they just like, this is, nobody can, they just threw it in the burn pile and said, trainee will not get this. But because they brought the entire mail, it's this giant like laundry hamper of mail that they bring out, and they just start throwing stuff out. And I was like, mine was not in there. I was like, thank goodness. And, and then another drill sergeant comes out with a special box. And there was only one thing in there, and I could see what it was. And I was like, oh no. So, freshly with our beret, standing information, everybody's got their mail, they're all happy, and they go, Trainee Watson. And I was just like, yes, drill sergeant? And they go, front and center. And I was just like, oh, it's not good. So the entire company is like, so you got 4 platoons in this company, and we're all squared up in front of the drill sergeant stand, which is where this story is going to begin with, the drill sergeant stand.
Mm-hmm.
And they go, and so drill sergeant Viejas, she's as Chad described her, because we went to the same battalion or company for training.
Yep.
She's a little Hispanic firecracker. Like, she is a fiery, like, drill sergeant. So she's the one with my mail, and I'm just like, oh, this is good. So I get up, and I'm standing right in front of her, and she goes, come here. And I was just like, front and center, drill sergeant, I'm right here. And she goes, no, up here. And I was just like, and she pointed to the drill sergeant stand, and I was like, as we said before, you're not supposed to touch the drill sergeant stand, let alone get on it. And she's like, and she goes, get up here. And I was like, oh no, drill sergeant, I couldn't do that.
No, not me.
And she was like, get up here. So I crawl up on the drill sergeant stand, and the entire company is just like bewildered. They're like, what on earth is like Watson doing on this drill sergeant stand? Because it's like, it's a sacred place.
Yeah.
And so I get up there, and she goes, read it. And I was like, read what, drill sergeant? She was like, read your little letter thing here. And I was just like, and it's an envelope. Like, I wish I should have brought it, but it's an envelope that just says, Porn Addicts Recovery of a Society of America, together we seek release. And so obviously
it's like, and then it was like, together we can beat this.
together we beat it, yeah. I can't
Then we
even
can be.
it's so hard. I can't even read it, but the company's just laughing because I'm laughing trying to read this Matt Lale I got from Jerkface over here. But yeah, no, that was memorable. And then I got off the drill sergeant stand there like, all right, 100 burpees, and I was like, oh, because you have to do your punishment for your mail. If somebody sends you mail,
Oh,
you're
man.
gonna get smoked for it. And if you don't get mail, you're gonna get smoked for it. They'll make you do push-ups, and you'll go down, no one, then up, loves me, down, no one, up, loves me. But if you do, if you get mail, they'll be like 20 push-ups, or they'll do 10 burpees or whatever. So I got 100 burpees because of Mr. Simpson over here, because he wanted to send me a joke letter. And then I showed them that it was a prank letter too, because I opened it up and there's like a joke card on the inside. And I handed it to them. I was like, I told you this was not real, drill sergeant. Like, I'm not deviant.
I don't know if it actually came through on the letter, but on the inside there was supposed to be a message, and it was supposed to be
Thank you.
So that way, well, thank you for your service.
Yeah.
But it was also like, if they had read it, I was like, how many push-ups and sit-ups or whatever? How much did this cost you? That's what it was. That's what it was. So they definitely would have known that it was definitely joking.
No, it was a good joke, but yeah, a very memorable way to kind of end basic training for me, because it was, but yeah, not a fun way to do it either.
Not a fun way, but it was a good memory.
It was a good memory, that's for sure. And that's the thing about Army. Like, I mean, like, it's the stuff that sucks that you're gonna remember the most and kind of remember fondly. Like, if it's too easy, as they say, then there's nothing. It's just like, oh, we did it. Like, it's the crappy times that you're really gonna cherish and remember at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, we went off on that little tangent about that. So.